Hey guys, I'm Stan Lowe from the Sustainable Solutions Waste Group, and today we'll be talking about how we think we can improve the overall environmental health of Inglewood by providing a new way to improve Inglewood's waste management. So we'll move on to the first section of the presentation right now. According to City of Inglewood Recycling and Waste Newsletter by Republic Services, the Senate Bill 1383, which was passed in 2016 by the way, requires the state to reduce organic waste disposal by 75% by 2025. And currently, organics comprise two-thirds of the waste disposed in California landfills. Organic waste includes lawn and landscaping debris, wood and lumber, food and fibers, such as paper and cardboard. The law also requires the state to increase the edible food recovery by 20% by 2025. The goal of the Senate Bill 1383 is to reduce methane emissions at landfills. Methane is a powerful greenhouse gas which is produced when organics break down in landfills. Landfills are the third largest emitter of methane in the state of California. As you can see, this is the city of Inglewood, and it's really pretty. How does the current state of Inglewood compare to nearby cities? Los Angeles and Palmdale are the two cities we are comparing to Inglewood based off waste. We decided to go with LA and Palmdale due to how similar they all are. Inglewood is a city where there's not much trash. The city provides waste bins and bins for recycling. Comparing Inglewood to LA, however, they both provide waste bins. The only difference is LA provides green bins that can carry outside, branches, or yard work. Moving forward, it is stated that Los Angeles is known for generating 12 million tons of trash, and based off different technologies and the goals the environment has, LA still contains landfills in order to dispose of the trash. As for Palmdale has 185 acres of land with 125 acres permitted for waste disposal. That being said, residents are also able to drop off any hazardous or electronic waste. Here's the Inglewood graph of disposal in 2000, and here's LA new trash hauling system. You can see public services are over here, Ethan services are over here, waste management is over here, universal waste systems are here, NASA services are here, CalMet services are here, and where disposal are here. And here's the Palmdale map. It's relatively small, but still very noticeable. So, in order to describe my specific solution in detail and how it would improve the long-term environmental quality of Inglewood, we would have to go into how and what it is. So, according to our research and our thinking, to say the least, in order to improve the overall quality and health of the environment in Inglewood, a possible solution could be to keep pushing the popularity of composting, as it has been gaining popularity over time. Composting will not only improve the environmental health of Inglewood, but it will also help with the growth of it. Composting? What is composting, you might ask? Well, composting is the organic process where excess food is recycled, decomposed, and used as fertilizer to grow plants. According to environmentalists, horticulturalists, agriculturalists, composting is on to the next section. What goes into the landfills of the United States? Have you ever wondered that? Because I have, and I was shocked to find that almost 22% of the waste that we produce is food waste, and all of that goes into the landfill of the United States. By promoting composting, we can put almost 22% of those landfills to use by making them into fertilizers to grow plants. And that's it for my section, and I will lead you to my next group mate. Thank you.
Hello, I am Maisie Priete, and I will be carrying on this presentation. First, we're going to talk about what is this project's feasibility. So, as for the feasibility of this project, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say that this project is a solid 9, as the project's difficulty is relatively low and not very demanding at all for the inhabitants of Inglewood. And there are also many ways to promote the usage of composting, such as making a public announcement of the project and talking about the benefits it will provide for both the inhabitants and the cities in Inglewood. Another way is having a consistent amount of bins for the city in order for residents and workers to occupy the bins with waste and trash, any yard work such as branches, leaves, fruit, and vegetables. More about public announcement. Giving a public announcement will make the residents more aware of how to dispose waste, such as knowing which bins are specifically for plastic and which are for recycling. What resources would be required to make this solution successful? The main accomplishment that would make this successful is reducing the amount of waste that goes in the landfills. With that being said, how can we stop so much waste going into the landfill? Residents and other individuals would need to be educated and motivated to dispose of their waste in a responsible way. This job falls on government and social groups to teach about the benefits of composting. In addition to this, our solution would also require a reallocation of funding for large and industrial composting units, as well as bins and collection programs citywide. How would residents react to the proposed changes? I believe residents will be relieved and excited that there are many different ways we can dispose of waste other than throwing it in the landfill or throwing the waste on the streets. Residents will also be able to properly dispose of their plastic cups or any paper, throw away their waste from doing outside work in the green bins, and throw away cans and bottles in the blue bins. Furthermore, this all helps with the environment, ecosystem, and by extension, all residents, because we are protecting our environment by not throwing and accumulating so much waste in different areas. Non-human animals will benefit from our proposal, as improper waste management is one of the biggest risks to wildlife, who get caught, hurt by, or confused and eat waste. This is often lethal, and when it's not, it is carried up the food chain to other animals and humans as well. If the program was voluntary, would anybody want to do it? Why or why not? If the program was to be voluntary, there would still be lots of support, but it might not grow as fast. From personal experience, composting is a great gateway to more sustainable thinking overall, and the more familiar one becomes with it, the more they want to talk about it to others. Composting is an ancient practice that has survived through word of mouth and teaching. Because there has been so much effort and resources put into industrializing our way of life, there must be a similar amount of effort put into returning our consumption habits to the regenerative ways of the past. More and more people are becoming aware of not only the societal need for sustainability, but also the personal well-being that comes from caring for the earth. We hope to speed this process along. And now we're going to carry on to our next speaker.
Hello, I will be finishing up this presentation, doing the last 4 slides, starting with the question, would you propose the program change the use of any existing land or resource? If so, would this deprive the community of a resource that is already used? The program would change the land due to improving and avoiding throwing waste in the landfills. Landfills will end up having a decrease in the population of waste. However, landfills are known to have waste, and it is normal to have some trash, but it is known that it cannot be controlled well enough. Being said that, this is where we would start the process of our program and take accountability to provide the cities with the bins, such as the green bins and the blue bins, as well as providing many resources for our residents and other individuals. These blue bins and green bins consist of different things. The blue bins consist of cans, bottles, anything that could be recycled, as well as the green bin, which is also can be recycled, but it recycles like fruits, vegetables, outside work, such as branches, leaves, outside yard work. As you can see here, we are talking about the cost of how much it costs to live in these cities, and how much do people need to pay as in for income to live in these cities. In the city of Inglewood, the cost of living is $155, and the cost of LA, Los Angeles, is $689,500, and in Palmdale, the cost is $312,300. The cost of living for these cities is calculated overall, including grocery, health, housing, and overall the home cost. And we notice that it is more expensive in Los Angeles compared to Palmdale and Inglewood, due to most of the population being in LA, California. Therefore, Palmdale would come second to being more expensive, and Inglewood would be last to be expensive. As for the income, when residents are living in these cities, they would have to pay for living in Inglewood $28,555, and in LA they would have to pay $74,371, and in Palmdale, income payment would be $149. As is shown, living in Inglewood, Los Angeles, and Palmdale, comparing these cities, it is shown in recent years that people have moved to Inglewood due to the high income individuals would need to pay due to the high cost of the money. That makes Palmdale now second and LA third. This slide shows a bar graph on the left side comparing different cities. As for West Covina, Downey, Sun Valley, and El Monte, and Inglewood is right there where the arrow is pointing. This shows the bar graph of the waste disposal, of how much waste disposal is in yearly. And in this graph, it's showing the year 2000. How can our solution negatively and positively impact the economy of Inglewood? Our solution is a way to avoid throwing so much waste on the streets and pile up on the landfill. A way it can negatively impact the economy of the city Inglewood is if the individuals don't follow along with what is supposed to happen, which is separating the waste into different bins, such as the blue and the green, or which are the blue and the green. This can be an issue because when individuals are throwing their trash/waste out of the streets or anywhere else, all that trash ends up in the landfill due to the workers picking the trash up and dropping it there. The landfill compiles up and affects the environment. This is what we are trying to avoid. As for positive impact on their economy, individuals would follow along and separate their waste, they either have or found and dispose it into the bins. By doing this, it helps the environment and economy because we are saving time, preventing the landfill from not getting too overwhelming with trash. This also saves the workers who have it easier for them when we are separating from the green bin and the blue bin since it consists of two different things, and it makes it easier to throw it in the landfill if needed. What is overall feasibility of our solution? Our overall feasibility is making public announcements, and not just one announcement, but many announcements to our residents and providing them with information on how we can improve on our waste management. The cost of all this would be $233. That is according to a website in this year, 2021, and it would consist of waste disposal. In other words, it would consist of being on the topic. It would focus on waste disposal. Another resource is using the bins in the correct way. The civic engagement in this is the outcome of the waste disposal or waste management. Meaning, in other words, like how is the outcome going to turn out? Is it going to turn out positive? Is it going to turn out negative? We're going to try to figure that out and see how we can go through it. Moving forward, the strengths, this is where we're talking about the strengths and the weaknesses. The strengths of this is the residents and individuals taking accountability and maintain the waste management. And the weakness of this would be others could differ and choose to manage their waste management in their own way, where, in other words, individuals would have their own say, and they could choose not to follow along the rules of the city. The problem here, though, with that is the city will notice, and this will become a bigger issue than it already is. And that is it. Thank you so much. These are the resources. And yes, thank you.